Hey, everybody, welcome to this Wednesday night, 27th edition of the Small Ball Podcast. I'm Charlie Rogers. He's Chancey Rogers. We have a special guest for you tonight that we'll bring on here in a few minutes. But I do want to say I appreciate everybody being with us. I appreciate all the numbers that we're getting every week. People, you guys seem to really enjoy the podcast. Chancey, I get a lot of folks tell me, and I'm sure you do too, throughout the week, that they listened, that they liked the guest, that they didn't like the guest, whatever, but they were impressed that we were able to keep Cub PG rated. Like I said, I think I told you that night, we were so worried about Cub saying cuss words, and we had you saying poop farting on the podcast. So talk about poop farting in the dugout. So, I think we've done pretty good, but man, appreciate you doing this and Joe and everybody. And I just wanted to get that out there. Thank all y'all. Chancey, what's going on, brother?
Yeah. Man, it's baseball season. I think I say that every week, but it keeps feeling like it. High school is full-fledged in district. College baseball is playing their conferences. MLB has started. It was opening week. I still got my Rangers hat on. And speaking of, we're playing your Reds this week, and
yeah,
they put a whooping on it. Like, we had a good weekend against Boston, and then we come and go. Like, Nolan's pumped because he loves. Like, our cat's name is Ellie. Ellie.
Yeah.
So he's we're playing the Reds. So he's like pumped after school. And they put a whooping on us come Monday, and then
Ellie had a great game in that game.
Oh yeah, he had 2 home runs, and then we've had 2 1-0 games. And the funny thing is, little trivia. First time in Rangers history that we've won back-to-back games 1-0.
Really?
Evaldi pitched a 9-inning shutout yesterday, and today we had Al Leiter's son, Jack
Leiter. Yep.
Yeah, he left with a little he had a little blister, but our bullpen, man. So there's a guy, Chris Martin, on our team. You need to go look up his Wikipedia after we get done tonight. Everybody, go look up Chris Martin. Oh, look here, we got Joe already in here.
Joe's here.
Whoa.
Joe.
But we're talking Reds and Rangers prelim before we bring on a guest. We've had 2 1-0 games with Reds and Rangers. It's been nice. Ellie put that torpedo on it the first night, and then we got we had 2 1-0 games, and it's the first time in Rangers history. And then it ended the exact same way, with a runner at first and Ellie up with 2 outs, and he grounds out.
Yeah, and it's a shame because the Reds have had 2 really good pitching performances too.
No doubt. It's one of them games.
They've blown it. I think I saw a stat today. They haven't scored a run in the last 17 innings, and I mean, you're not gonna win too many games like that. And it really hurts to lose them 1-0, right? You needed 2 runs to win a game, and you couldn't do it 2 games in a row. And that frustrates pitchers and fans and everybody else. But at least we're not the Braves, right? The Braves, the only winless team so far. It's very early, very, very early.
And but winning everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Braves are on the struggle bus right now. And then you mentioned it's college baseball right now too. We've, obviously we're Mississippi folks in here. Southern Miss and Ole Miss ranked pretty high right now, rolling pretty good. And Mississippi State's kind of they're on the struggle bus too, man. They played some good teams, but sitting at 1-8 in the conference is not where you want to be.
Oh, it's tough. It's tough. There's a lot of stuff going on. That'll be another podcast, I promise you.
We'll just say hotty toddy over here and move on. Joe, what you doing, man? What's going on?
Hey, man, just my bad for getting on late. The fact that I'm actually in school now, it's a little bit different to my schedule. So
what school? What kind of school you doing?
So it is online, but it's through LSU. for construction project management. So this is and it's accelerated. So it's crazy. I'll be able to get my bachelor's in literally a year and a half. Now that's only with certain like programs they offer online. With the continuing education program through like the MLB that they have. So I went ahead and chose to do to commit to doing that while still playing. So it's like my mornings are all school up until about 11. So I had to get up so early, like at 6 o'clock in the morning, and everything from there to 11 is straight, just like studying. So that's like my whole mornings now.
That's awesome. My brother does that. Colin Bray. He got drafted at JUCO, and
Yeah.
and he actually went to South Alabama one year, then fought for state. But he didn't have much, and he didn't. He did not have a backup plan. He was playing baseball, but in his draft slot, he got the continuation that was part of his draft, and so he got him paid for it, and he ended up doing something then towards that end. He started out nutrition, didn't know what he's going to do after baseball, but he's like an operator or something at Chevron now, so he had to go to construction field too. But I know he was able to use that for something, so that's good. You guys,
Yeah, because it's more of a use it or lose it type situation, man. If you don't use it within a certain amount of years, they take it away from you. It just they'll give you the money, but if they can try to keep that money in their pocket, they're gonna keep it. So if you don't use it, you lose
a lot
it.
like insurance, right? They say the insurance is there, but they're going to try to find every loophole to not pay out.
But hey, I bet you're learning some stuff, though. I mean, not just getting a piece of paper or something, but you'll learn some stuff to help your dad.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like to start, a lot of it is just like I guess just try to bring you into the introduction of what they're trying to do with majority of the new age building being green, sustainable, help with global warming, that type of thing. But man, I'll be honest with you. This gonna sound crazy. I actually am having a very easy time with the construction management class, but this art class I'm having to take with it, dog.
You got to take them.
Man, I'm over here having to be able to tell what type of painting. Like if we were to go to a museum right now, for me to pass, which I just grace to God passed on my mentor for art today, right? That if you go into a museum, you gotta be able to look at the painting without knowing what this painting is. You gotta be able to tell what they use, what style, the date, age, when it was made by just looking at the paint. Man, let me tell you something.
So
man.
you may have, which I didn't go through LSU, but I had to take art appreciation too.
Yeah.
And it was like that. Our tests were, we had a piece of paper with lines on it, right? And we're going to get to our guest in just a minute, I promise. We had a piece of paper with lines on it, and the line would be like artist, date, medium.
Oh, dude, the medium,
stuff, right? And then so she would put a painting up on the PowerPoint on the screen in the room, and we just had to fill in all the blanks on each of these paintings. It was awful. I was so happy to be done with that. So I can relate, Joe. I have some empathy for you there.
Dude, that's tough, man. That's tough. But yeah.
So we talked about baseball season. We got pro ball, college ball, high school. We can get into that later, but they're rocking and rolling. A lot of good matchups going on. Travel ball's rocking and rolling, but our topic and our guest is the where it all started in this world, and probably our biggest and heatedest conversation is recreational baseball. And we've got we got a special guest on tonight, Miss Kayla Davenport from Starkville Parks and Recs, and me and her have came into contact because the podcast is actually sponsoring a youth baseball team, a 7U team here in Starkville, and I thought she was awesome, and I was like, every rec league needs a Miss Kayla, and I want you to come on our podcast and talk about what you do. How you doing, Kayla?
I'm doing great. How are y'all doing?
Awesome. And you know what? It's also good, Chancey. We're killing lots of birds with one stone here. We don't get too many female guests on this here show, and so other than Dr. Allison, it's nice to have another female guest on here.
No doubt.
Yeah, I can hang.
Oh yeah, she's surrounded. She's surrounded by mean old boys all the time too. So
Oh yeah.
She's got all that Mississippi State stuff going on there, though. I don't know about all that.
Hey, that's where I went to school. I can't help it.
yeah,
It runs in the family.
So tell us about that. So go ahead and tell us your title here at Starkville Parks and Recs.
So
Hold on, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it, Kayla.
Okay,
I wrote it down.
I believe it.
I don't want to waste
it.
my ink writing it down now. Kayla Davenport is the Director of Marketing and Sponsorship for the Starkville Parks and Rec in Starkville, Mississippi. Boom.
Yes.
Now tell us what you do.
Yes, such a mouthful. So yeah, I do. I handle all of our sponsorship stuff, the partnerships, which is how I met Chancey. He sponsored one of the baseball teams, which all of our teams were sponsored. I was so excited. Very, very thankful to everybody that sponsored our teams. So that'll be fun. And I handle like all the marketing stuff, which is anything from like the signage that you see out in the parks to social media, the website, even as like, email stuff, stuff like this is part of marketing, just talking to people, going out. And then I also, I am also an ambassador with the partnership. I don't know if I told you that, Chancey, but that's also kind of working with the parks. I go and help do the ribbon cuttings and stuff too, and network. It's fun.
The big events and everything that goes on. You're part of that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so
I do a lot.
I feel like I'm Charlie here, and I know Charlie's got some questions. But
You're doing great.
Yeah, but Charlie's usually the one, but me and Kayla's gotten to talk a little bit just here and there, but I do got a lot of questions because that's why I'm excited about having her on. But just because I think that a lot of our listeners are so unfamiliar with the structure that you guys do. So just kind of so our listeners do like know who you are and like how, because they don't even know your job exists in their recreational league, most of them. So tell us about like, hey, I went to Mississippi State. Your degree, how'd you work your way into getting this job?
So, I guess like a little bit about my background. I'm actually from Vicksburg, but have been coming to Starkville for, the longest time. And I got my undergrad at Mississippi College, came here for my graduate degree at Mississippi State. Yeah. And then my husband is also here at State. He's getting his PhD in history right now. Wow. And then after I graduated, a little bit after that, I actually got hired part-time for Parks and Rec. I was just kind of like the business assistant. I helped out with like everything kind of. And then I got moved into full-time assisting with finance because my master's degree is actually in business administration. So I worked with finance for a little while. That's just not what I love. My love is in marketing. I love the creative side. I love working with people. I love going and talking to people. So when that position opened up, I applied for that and went through the whole process where I went the interview with the GM, the other leaders locally, and then the interview process with our corporate side. And they chose me. So here I am.
Awesome. All right, Charlie, your turn. Sorry.
Well, yeah. So I was gonna get to kind of where you were from and that kind of thing. You grew up in Vicksburg. Chancey covered it. You got there through family, and you've been going to Starkville for a long time. So I'm just kind of recapping. But we had Josh Smith on at one time, who is the Parks and Rec director here in Columbia down here. They've got a ballpark there called the Yards, but you guys have a ballpark there in Starkville that is it's really top notch. I mean, it's one of the premier parks in the state. Can you talk a little bit about how that happened and what you guys are doing with that?
Yeah. So actually, right before I started working with Parks and Rec was the grand opening for Cornerstone. So I started right in the midst of it, like getting up and running is when I started working part-time. So I've kind of watched it kind of slowly stabilize and come into what it is. This is not what you asked, but I just love the community's reaction to this park. Like when I say
Mhm.
that the community just loves the park, and like I'll see people who I don't even know who they are. They just come to the park. I'm sure they're like parents. I'll see them picking up trash like on their way out, which is not, they don't have to do that, but it's like, wow, you can tell the community. It's just so like, I don't know. I love that. That just feels,
They're proud of it.
like,
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
I love that.
you can see that. I mean, I've been here a year and a half, 2 years, and I could see that. Like I feel like that's almost like my what you would like a vacation home or something. Like I'm proud of it too because I go and work there. I do lessons there, train my teams there, and it's the same thing. I mean, of course, I'm making kids clean up the dugouts, whatever. Because when you pull in, and some people have been to this park because they play tournaments there, but when you pull in, it's pretty much in a swamp, okay? And they just turned this into
Yeah.
a beautiful. I mean, on the road it has baseball laces, and you pull in, and the landscape, and they're steadily working on that, adding trees, and this is I've been here same as Kayla. Right? I was there. I was doing lessons there before it officially opened. But I mean, it's just gorgeous coming in. It's got a walk track that I love.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
because I can bring my bird dog, and I actually let her run off leash. I know it's probably against the rules, but I do have her on an e-collar. But she loves it because it's like fields and swamp and stuff. She can run, and she'll come back to me, come back to me. It's great for her. And I see like I saw six dogs yesterday on like they were having a walk-in party, and it's a
Oh, that's
great like
nice. I love that.
yeah, great community stuff. And then, of course, you add the baseball and softball aspect to it. Beautiful turf fields, and they've done a great job with the outfield and turf. And I know a lot of people was complaining at first. I was like, if they do it right, this thing's gonna be nice. You got to give it time. You can't just lay down
Yeah.
and think it's gonna be fine the first year. It takes a couple of years to get, and it's come this spring, that thing's gonna be real, real pretty. So
Yeah, every you go to any of the kind of premier parks in the state, and they are turf infields and grass outfields. That's just kind of the way that you do it. Yeah, you take care of it. It's a lot less maintenance. I've been there. We've been there once, and we'll be up there again in a couple months. But Kayla, it's what is it? 9 fields? I'm trying to count in my head. Chancey, do
There's
you know?
12 total fields.
12. Okay.
yeah, 3
There
quad.
3 quads, 12 total fields.
Okay, it's 3 quads. I was thinking it was three. I knew it was 3 sections. I was thinking there were 3 fields, but there's 4. Okay, so
Yeah, well,
12 fields. Yeah,
And
it's
then
super
there's the
nice.
little T-ball field section that's kind of like in the middle that we use for
Hmm.
T-ball.
Hmm. Yeah, it's great. It's great, and the community should be proud of it. I mean, they definitely should be proud of it, and take care of it, and that kind of stuff. So you guys play. I'm going to get into the rec ball stuff. So you guys play rec ball out there, I assume.
Yes, that is
Um,
where we have all of our practices and games for rec
so
ball.
before we get in that, Charlie, Kayla,
Mhm.
let's tell them. And I've got a question about this because I saw another part today I wanted to ask you about when I was picking up the kids because they have all that construction going on over at Henderson Ward. I had to go a back way, and I saw another park with a baseball field. I was like, "Oh, is that a Parks and Recs?" I think it's JL King.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
That's part of y'all too.
Yes, we have, watch me lie and say the wrong number. I
yeah,
want to say
yeah,
8
Kayla, just
parks
walk us
total.
through because yeah, that's what I was going to say. So just walk us through kind of
Talk
what
about
all you guys
sports
have going
flex.
on because it's not just Cornerstone. There's other
Right,
things
right.
going on too.
We've got other stuff
Yep.
to use, so tell them.
Mhm.
So yeah, Cornerstone, we love it for baseball, softball, all that kind of stuff. Oh, and kickball is also happens
I've
out
seen
at
that out there.
Cornerstone sometimes.
I've seen that.
And then we have the Sportsplex and the Travis Outlaw Center, which a lot of people know. The Travis Outlaw Center has a gym where we do basketball, and the Sportsplex where we do adult softball because we do have the softball fields out there, and that's where we also do the flag football and soccer. Um, and then we also have Moncrief, which is where our dog park is and where the public pool is, which will be opening in next month, I think, May. We'll have like swim lessons and stuff at the pool. So
So
that'll be fun.
I'm gonna add the dog park is an old baseball field. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so they just like fence it in where the dogs can't get out, but it's kind of cool because I noticed it was an old baseball field. I was like, that's kind of cool to convert that into a dog like park where they can't get out and then go run and play.
That's cool.
Yeah,
and still make use of the space.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that every now and then, Kayla. I interrupt, so don't get mad at me. I
you're
just
fine.
want folks to miss stuff that I like.
And so then we also have McKee, which is under construction right now, but that's where the pickleball courts are, and it's actually right across from the Sportsplex. I'm sure construction on McKee will be done by like the end of this year, but that is looking really good.
What is it? I know they left 2 little fields, but what are they doing where the other fields were?
I don't know exactly where everything is in my head, but I know that they're adding pavilions, the playground's getting like an upgrade. There's going to be like a little outdoor amphitheater situation happening. A trail, a walking trail. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, but lots of great upgrades. The like images that were put out on Facebook of what the stuff was going to look like, it is not going to compare. It's going to look so much better. I'm so excited.
The 2 little fields are going to stay though.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
I need to jump on that opinion board and try to get them to stay. Because Charlie, these fields are like little bitty. Like they're so cute. They're t-ball fields, but the fence are so like Nolan could hit one out right now. Like it's awesome.
It's like that little field they have in the back at Summerall out there.
Yes, but maybe a little bit bigger than that.
Okay.
But big enough where 7, 8-year-old can hit it out, and it's very realistic to them. So I just love it. That was the very first day I brought Nolan to Starkville. I took him out there and hitting ground balls. It was awesome. So I'm glad y'all kept that. Keep going. I'm just interrupting.
No, you're fine.
I'm gonna mute. I'll mute Chancey in a minute.
And then we have Patriot Park and George Evans Park, which is also where the Needmore Community Center is. That just got a big revamp. Like they completely redid the building there, and it looks awesome. I love the mural on the side. It like depicts the local community there, and it tells their story. A lot of the all the community like showed up for the ribbon cutting. It was awesome. It was a blast.
I've never been there. I gotta check that out.
Definitely come check it out. Even if you just come to like look at the mural, like it's so beautiful. The artist did a great job. And it has the basketball courts there at George Evans. And what am I forgetting? J.L. King Park that has, it's got the football fields, it's got a huge walk track, it's got the disc golf course and the newly renovated splash pad. Also just recently had that ribbon cutting. And the baseball fields and basketball courts there as well.
There's a disc golf course at that part?
Mm-hmm. There is.
Kayla?
I think it's 8.
Okay. 8 holes?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I've gotten into disc golf, Kayla. I'm trying to figure that out. So we come up there after play.
I saw you got a new ring thing. So what do you call that?
It's a basket. I got a basket for my house. My wife got it for me for our anniversary, and awesome. I'm trying to talk her into letting it live inside, but she is convinced that it needs to move outside. But I'm getting her into every night having put-offs with me, and so maybe I'm working it into her mind that maybe it needs to stay inside.
And that was one of the things I was forgetting that McKee's getting there. I think they're putting disc golf out there as well. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they're going to put the disc golf course out there as well. But yeah, there's one out at JL King. That's nice. And then our last park is Josie Park. I think I covered it. I think that's all of our parks.
Joe Gray, when's the last time you were in Starkville?
He's supposed to be coming. He texted me.
Last time I was in Starkville.
Oh, we lost you out there.
I can hear. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, the last time I was in Starkville had to be, shoot, man, it's been a while, man. Not gonna lie to you, it's been good. I haven't had a need again starting. But I do remember a lot of what what it looks like. But I do have one question in comparison. Yeah, I think she kind of like covered it to an extent to why I would ask this question. But she said that one of the parks offers like y'all play kickball and things like that out there. So for the city of Starkville and Parks and Recreation, are there like certain initiatives y'all have to get the whole community in the city more involved with all the parks? Like you said, like playing kickball and things like that. Like that's the thing. To bring like the whole community involved rather than just be for only baseball or softball.
To get the whole community involved, and on that, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last thing you said.
Where it's not just focused on like youth baseball, youth softball. So I think Joe's talking about adult stuff or other sports.
Oh yeah,
things.
Yeah, like
actually, yes, we are. I'm working with some members of the Young Entrepreneurs Group and the partnership right now to get adult kickball back up and going. So yes, we're constantly working on stuff like that to get the community more involved and doing stuff. And of course, the community also, uses our spaces for their own events and fundraisers, and we have the equipment that we offer for people if they ever need it. Yeah, we work with the community a lot for that stuff, but yeah, we've had a lot of interest for adult kickball coming back, so we're hopefully going to get that back up and running. And we think the season's probably going to start in August. So if you guys want to come play kickball,
you also mentioned pickleball courts, tennis courts. You guys have, pickleball's really taken off. Joe showed us his paddle. He even plays a little bit. You guys have leagues for that kind of stuff, tennis, pickleball, that kind of stuff.
We don't yet. It's I think our athletic coordinators are talking about it, trying to see like how we could maybe do something like that. There's been some ideas thrown around, but right now it's still very busy with a very active community. If there's ever any rainy anything happening where they can't go out to McKee, they're up in the gym at the TOC playing pickleball every morning and every night. They
you have indoor pickleball courts too?
Well,
they use the gym. We kind of convert it. When weather happens and they can't go outside, we let them use the gym. Of course, if it's not already reserved for something else, we'll let them come in and use the gym instead.
So let me add to that so to help explain it. And Joe, as I said, tell Joe to come back in because I think he needs to reset his audio. But so the gym that she's talking about, that's where like Nolan has his youth basketball.
Cowboy joined.
And they're very like in the community where our club is, basketball, like league basketball is getting very popular. And but the problem is they don't have courts. They're having to borrow junior high courts, and it runs into the weekends. And the one thing that I love about the rec sports in Starkville is that they're pretty much all during the week, and you can play Nolan plays all four there, and Fitz will be 5 because they'll just announce track and field, and Allie's signing him up this summer for track and field,
awesome.
just so he can run, but
Joe, what's that face for?
Think about Nolan running track and field.
Look, I support all activities. But I'm just saying, between us, what sport, if he really wants to run, all he has to do is stay with soccer. But you don't like that though.
I don't like soccer, but he does.
You don't like that though.
I knew Joe had something. I always watch Joe's facial expressions, and I knew he had something turning up there. Kayla, it has been discussed on this here podcast that Chancey's disdain for soccer. And Joe likes to stir that pot. So I knew he had something going on.
I played soccer. That was my sport. That was mine. I played soccer.
Baseball people.
I was a sweeper.
Don't get along.
See, Chauncey?
I never got along with the soccer players in college. It's just the thing. I don't know.
It's just because we're too cool.
See what you talking about? No,
They wouldn't date him. He was upset because they wouldn't date him.
Yeah. I'm gonna say there's a beef.
Well,
There's a beef
you're
somewhere with
probably right.
that.
I had softball girls. Yeah. No, but no, it is they're able to do it, and having that building is a separator. I mean, it's huge. So, like she said, so it does have like a racquetball court in there, but it doesn't get used that much anymore because pickleball has demolished what the racquetball is to do, right?
Yeah.
So all these people that play racquetball or tennis and stuff. In fact, our tennis courts have got converted into pickleball courts, which I'm upset about. And so we need to build some tennis courts, Kayla. So we need to, in the next meeting, let's figure out where we're going to do that because my daughter plays tennis, and I'll take her out to the pickleball courts and play tennis. I know they get mad at me, but I'm like, well, I can't go to the high school because they're having a tournament right now because that's the only place right now is the high school, right? Am I right?
I think so, unless there's anything on campus, like on Mississippi State campus.
Yeah, I'm not doing that either. So,
no, Kayla, we got to get Chancey on the board out there.
Well, we're working on all kind of stuff with that.
Make sure when you do your survey, put that in the notes in the bottom. Be like, where are the tennis courts?
So they do a survey, and that's what I love. So, like the biggest thing that we just listed all what Starkville has, and and not to just brag. And I know we got Ole Miss people, we got Southern Miss people, and they're like, Starkville, whatever. This is what I appreciate about it. They utilize the money that the city has, and to me, put it in the right direction to help grow. Obviously, Kayla's in this field where that's her job now is to market that kind of thing. And so a question I've got is like getting the sponsors, getting, not just me sponsoring a team, but like some big boy money to get the money to have these things, not just, people, buying dinners when state's got a football game or baseball game and people are in town. Obviously that plays a huge part, but what other stuff do you guys do to keep bringing that money in to keep providing for the community?
We work really closely with all of our field sponsors. The field sponsors are the main, like those are our big boys. And they're great. All of them, I've just like, I work with them, I meet with them and talk with them pretty regularly and check, a lot of them is like, they also are contributing, like we're actively buying a lot from them. So it's like works both ways, it's a benefit for both. Like they help us because they're actively out in the parks and they want to participate and they want to support it. And then we're also actively already using them as a business anyway. So it just kind of works out as a benefit for both most of the time anyways. So yeah, it's a lot of the Cornerstone field sponsors, you see their logos out on the fields. Those are our big boys. And then we have the ones out at the Sportsplex fields too. And we have the Jeffrey Simmons field too. That's great. Yeah.
Good.
I think that answered your question. I hope.
Okay. I mean, you keep pushing that and bringing them in, and we have these smaller communities that surrounds Hattiesburg, and they each have their own league, and of course, they don't have a staff like you guys have, and they have board members and they vote on stuff and they get the little money that the city gives them. But there's other ways, and I think that they could kind of learn from the larger market and say, hey, let's get Ramey's Grocery, let's get them, like let's get some big boys, because I don't know of them doing that. They hit me up all the time. I'll buy a sign or sponsor a team, same kind of thing. And of course, you need that to keep it running, but you need that big boy stuff to move forward in some other things that open up, which again, to me, I think just brings more involvement. And like what Joe's talking about, all that brings people in it. Like their gym, there's it's an open gym. There's people in the community in there playing basketball, super nice. Obviously softball, and I think just the more activities there are, the better it is. Am I right, Kayla?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then for honestly, a lot of times what works for me, especially like, is just walking in the door and saying hi. Like, is just actually getting to know somebody and introduce myself, and they're like, "Oh, you work with Parks and Rec," and then they, just like you guys are talking to me right now and asking questions, we'll just sit down and have a conversation, and then it leads to both of us, whoever I'm talking to, learning something, and then we end up working together, and it just, yeah. So a lot of times it's just me walking in the door and saying, "Hey, are you busy?" and talking.
That's the way it works, and I do I love that about this community, and I wanted to educate more folks on it.
Yeah, Chancey has talked about, and he just kind of hit on it there, but he's talked about how you guys have all of your rec sports all tied in together, right? So here, and I think probably a lot of places, it is, Oak Grove Optimist Park is going to do rec baseball and softball, right? And then they're going to do Hattiesburg, the city of Hattiesburg Parks and Rec is going to do football. And Lamar County is going to have a basketball league. And there's no one-stop shop for all of the rec sports. And from what Chancey has said, it sounds like that's kind of what you guys do. Talk about that model and how the community feels about that, because I would think that they would love that.
Yeah. So the model, from what I because I don't go as deep into it as our athletic coordinators do with actually building the programs and doing all the scheduling and stuff. I just kind of take the information they give me and make it look pretty and show it to people. It's a lot of like just staring at the calendar, making sure that everything's going to fit, and that we'll have the resources to be able to do it. So we fill the calendar for everything that's going to be outside. We try to make those during like the warmer months, starting in like, getting the baseball and softball out there in like April, and then all the way up until like September really is when like the flag football is going to be out there, which is still, still starting to get a little bit cooler, but that's all of our outside stuff. And then we get into the colder months and we switch to indoor, which is the basketball. And then if we ever do anything with indoor soccer, we'll do that inside too. And then we just kind of rotate, like if something can happen at the Sportsplex and something can happen at Cornerstone, now that we have Cornerstone, we can do two things at once. So now having multiple spaces like that lets us do more than one thing at a time, which lets us do youth and adult sports too. So like you'll see our like yearly calendar and see like youth basketball starting, and then shortly after that adult basketball, then moving into towards the end of that adult flag football and youth baseball, and then it like transitions. Right now we're getting into like youth track and field at the same time as youth kickball and adult softball, because we can do kickball at Cornerstone. Track and field we utilize like the high school's track. They let us do that. Super nice of them to do that. And then we have adult softball at the Sportsplex. So we just organize and utilize all of our spaces.
And no, I'm not signed up for any of that, Charlie.
Okay. Well, you should. We gotta get Joe and get us a kickball team, and
flag football will be something. They hit me up about softball, but I've done retired from that too.
If we do a flag football team, I got to coach it, Chancey. My knees can't handle flag football.
We're talking about doing the adult flag football. The season would start in April. So, right at the same time, you're probably pretty busy in April.
Baseball, yeah. I've got a quarterback ready to go. He's having dinner right now, so he's not listening. But Zach Harrington, he played quarterback here. He's from Oak Grove. But he can still throw it. I already know because the Mississippi State camp, he won the velo challenge, and he's like, I'm old. I'm like, okay, you still throw it, bro. But I definitely still can't run it like I used to. So that's not going to be a thing. But no, but look how awesome it is, and I think it's a mixture of. There's a lot of young adults here, a lot of obviously college kids that some stick around and. Because they like living here, and so it gives them some activities. I know when I was in Nashville, I played the softball, and I played league, and I played on the weekends, and it gave me something to do because we're young, and it's a way of socializing too, and so it's pretty cool. So I actually didn't know we had a adult flag football though. That's interesting.
So
That's
I'm looking at
possibly coming next April is what they were talking about doing.
Oh, that's gonna be
I'm
good.
looking
So
at
it's
the
an
website
attempt.
here. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, an attempt.
No, sorry, I was just saying we're attempting adult flag
Well,
football.
that's the only way to know if it's going to take off or not is to try it. But kind of going back to where we were talking about everything being under one roof, because I really like that, because just a personal example, we play. My son plays basketball, flag football, baseball. He played soccer one year, but so he likes to do a lot of different things. But all the leagues are in different places, so Lamar County created a basketball league, and we didn't even know about it till it was a year into, already a year into it, because everything's in different places. But I'm looking at the website here, the Parks and Rec website, and everything's here under youth sports. You got youth baseball and softball, you get youth basketball, youth soccer, youth kickball, youth flag football, youth track and field, and then you got adult basketball, adult softball. And it's all right here. So you just go to the website. It's and I'll throw the website out there. It's starkvilleparks.org. You go to the website and you click on whatever you want to play, and I assume that takes you to a place to sign up for it when it's open for registration. And to me, that's just really cool. I like that, and I commend you guys for putting it all under one roof.
Yeah, and Kayla, you're over the website, or y'all sub that out?
That is me. Well, I am over the Starkville Parks website. We also have a website for Cornerstone. It's playcornerstone.com. I help out a little bit with that, but we have some people that help with that website a little bit more. So that way I'm
And
not
there's a
having to
link.
do
There's a
both
link
of
to
them.
it. Yeah.
And that's mainly for I know. So a cool thing that Cornerstone has, some that's been there, they know the way it looks, and to me, one of the better ones in our state for sure. But they have a live, like you can link into the live cameras there.
Yes.
Somebody told me that was awesome. I haven't done it because we run Game Changer, and I still want to figure out. I think there's a way, just like we do this podcast, Charlie, to have the live stream. You like copy and paste and all that. I think there's a way to link your Game Changer to their cameras,
Okay.
which would be awesome. So, but anyway, that's going down a rabbit hole. But that's a very cool thing that they have, and I think all that's on the Cornerstone website, right?
It is. So it's actually on the Parks and Rec website too, I believe. But I was looking, and there is like streaming services on here, and so
do you know about that, Kayla, or that's?
Yes. I put the little magic button on there, but yeah, you create an account on there with Misko Vision, and once, I think it's a monthly fee, I'm pretty sure, but once you get signed up for all of that, you can go and just find whichever field I think that's how they organized it. It's by field and then date and what's happening. You click on it and you can just watch it live. So like, I think it's cool because if like a family member is like wanting to watch like their grandkid play baseball, but they can't make it for whatever reason, because
We're
then they can just watch it.
boat. I'm gonna do it. I mean, that's the thing about, like, people pay tons of Game Changer. Just exploded. So if you don't know what Game Changer is a way that it's kind of like doing the books in baseball, but it's an app. So it's been going on for about 10 years, but you're able to stream off of it. I watch, I've got right at 15 teams. I watch just about all of my teams every weekend on my phone, and of course there's grandparents, and they'll pay that $7.99 a month or whatever it is. It's definitely worth it for them because they can't make it to all the games, and so same thing here. I mean, all of our family is not here, and Nolan's going to be playing, and so yeah, we'll do it for rec ball, and it's fun. But we play a lot of tournaments here too, so I gotta sign up, and I love to link it to the Game Changer, because when you have it on the Game Changer, it has like the score, and they're able to know what's going on too. So That's
Yeah,
that's
so I
cool.
was actually just sitting here while you guys were talking, creating an account.
That's what I love about Charlie. He's gonna find out.
I'm checking it out, man. I'm checking it out. So you guys are doing
This is
great. Y'all
the
keep
thing,
going. I'm creating an account. I'm gonna tell you just how easy or hard it is. When you click on the button, the little magic button that says streaming services, it takes you to Musco Vision and then asks you to create an account. And once you create an account, which I have done now, it takes you to, I guess, the Musco Vision site, which serves lots of different. It's kind of like NFHS for like college football, or from high school football, where you have lots of different teams on there. So now I'm just going to search for facility.
I think if you search Cornerstone. Yeah.
Yep, I just found it, Cornerstone, and then you've got, it's got an option for live broadcasts, upcoming broadcasts, and then there's actually it does actually archive broadcasts. So there are recent broadcasts, so I can look at just looking at it here, I can look at Field 6 from March 30th from 11 to 9. If I click on that,
11 to 9.
Yeah, I guess all day. I guess there was a tournament. That would have been Sunday.
Yeah, that's
and so
yeah. I need to pull that up and see that butt whipping Nolan's team got by a team they already beat in pool play.
Yeah. So you can so tell you how easy it is for you to do that. Once you click on the broadcast you want to watch, it gives you your pass option. So 1 day pass is $6.99. 3 day pass. So if you're gonna, watch a whole weekend tournament, is $14.99. 7 days is $19.99, and then 30 days, so a month, is $24.99. So those are your options. And now I will stop talking about this, but that's really cool. There aren't, we play at a lot of parks in the Jackson area. Brandon, Pearl, they have really nice parks. None of them have that. So that's really cool.
There's a massive camera on every field, and it's pretty awesome. So not to leave, I don't know what Joe's doing, but I'm gonna add Joe into this because when he was 8 or 9, I was coaching rec ball, coaching my brother, and we talked about this a lot. But that whole class and everything. But they were the Hattiesburg was building a new Larry Doliak. What is Larry Doliak's field now or park now?
Right, Tatum.
Over there at Tatum, yeah, and everybody knows it's Tatum too. But that was a whole thing, and I remember them like setting a goal and raising money, and it was an excitement, and it was, and that was 20 years ago now, and I think that's what communities need. They need, like, just like Cornerstone and Kayla talking about the community being excited, and that's what generates this. And like having an employee and a person on staff like Kayla, that her job is to keep the excitement up, right? The marketing side, build the hype. There we go. And
she's a hype ambassador.
It keeps some sponsorships. It keeps some sponsorships. It keeps people, wanting to spend money and wanting to stay in town and play tournaments, which is huge, which I fussed about, the Hattiesburg area for years of not doing something. Columbia did it, and they've done a great job, and I think it's helped Columbia, the city.
Mm-hmm.
I personally,
no doubt. Josh told us that when he was on here. Josh told us how much it had helped the city, and that was only 2 years in.
Yeah, I lived in Summerall, but I obviously live up here now, and we went and played a tournament last year, coaching Charlie's son's team, and me and I think I had Layla with me. Me and Layla just got a hotel in Columbia, went to the movie theater there, which is I think just a 2-screen movie theater, like old school. So Columbia's like small town. They're probably the size of Starkville. Starkville was super small, but more people, obviously. Like probably maybe an eighth of the population, but super cool. I enjoy it. Like, we go eat at a Mexican restaurant, stayed in a little hotel, got up and played baseball, and I think that's what it creates people to stay there. And the same thing with Starkville, where before probably they traveled out to
Mhm.
to at least Columbus is 30 minutes up the road. They've done a new park too, but sorry, Columbus people, y'all got a long way to go to compare to Cornerstone, but
well, a lot of those Starkville folks were probably driving to Jackson.
I promise you, the better teams were, no doubt.
Yeah,
they still have to, and I think that part's important, but to build a community, and I'm one of them that want to create the make rec ball great again. Church, they do a good job, and here's the deal. And Kayla could tell you, she don't have to deal with it as much as some of the other guys, but people still complain about it, right? They still complain like, oh, they should have done this, should have done that. I think that's just the world, but I've seen a lot of them. I've seen it in St. Louis. I've seen it here, small communities, a place like this, and definitely to me, this model works really good. And especially if you get good employees, the fact that you have employees is a plus. Then if you get good employees, then it makes it even better. And another reason we got Miss Kayla on, because I think she can get hired for whatever. Mississippi State might be calling her after we get done with this podcast for their marketing team, because she does a great job.
I tried. I do my best, and I have fun with it. So
go ahead. Chancey, were you getting to a question there?
No, I would just kind of laying it all out there with what our viewers, most of our viewers, kind of see things as, and like while we're diving deep into it, and why I think it's important for the community to keep it circulating, and to keep the hype up. She named it, keep the hype up, and yes, I think Hattiesburg, Oak Grove, Summerall, Purvis, Petal, I think all those communities could have a mini version of what they do here if they keep the hype up. The problem is
they could learn from it. They could definitely learn from it if they wanted to. Joe, were you saying something?
Well, I was just going to say, what it sounds like is, we all know Starkville is definitely more of, like you said, the size in comparison of just the city may be, the same size as, some are the cases, but it's a very dense place, and it's a very dense population around that area that could potentially match, certain places here in Hattiesburg. So what it sounds like is just the goal of making sure everyone, every kid, everybody, this is a place where everyone comes, everyone competes, everyone, feels like they have a place. And I feel like here in Hattiesburg, for the longest growing up, it was either you go to Tatum, but only one side of Hattiesburg was going to Tatum. And you go to Optimus, Oak Grove is still technically Hattiesburg. But they're like, all right, we're just gonna go to Oak Grove. Like if we had a situation here where, and the only time it really comes together is Dixie Boys, because it's the only Dixie Boys in the area. That's the only time that the whole Hattiesburg area comes together, unless you go to Petal. I think they have a Dixie Boys, but I just say I do commend, and I actually I like the idea of everyone comes in that area. Because I feel like it'll be definitely more competitive too. If you had kids coming from Summerall or Oak Grove, and they all came to play all at one place. And I feel like in Hattiesburg, we definitely have the space to make something like that, or if not expand on something like that. But
what I think, Joe, we've got so many good sized communities surrounding Hattiesburg too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you think about it, all right. So Starkville is a 7A high school.
Yeah.
So is Oak Grove. Okay. So you look at population, that's going to be closer to the same.
Mm-hmm.
So is Petal, right? So you got Petal, Oak Grove. Then you go to Hattiesburg. They're 6A.
They're 6. Yeah, Hattiesburg 6.
So you got Hattiesburg that's 6A. Then you got Columbia that's 5A, I think, right?
Right.
And then 4A.
Columbia is 4. Purvis and Summerall, though, both just got moved up to 5.
All right. So within 20 minutes, I mean, probably the max is, Columbia is 20 minutes from Oak Grove release, right?
Right.
You so each community could have their own little mini version of this. And then you're right. the greater Hattiesburg area could do something major in this. And,
Yeah. I understand, purpose, all those guys. It's like you said, the population of people is definitely increasing in all those sub communities. I know it's probably different. But
where Starkville, every school around them is significantly smaller, right? So we go from 7A, so the population just drops. But then Starkville has the ad, but so does, we're talking like Southern Miss isn't in town. They have a college too, and there's college students that could be involved with the adult stuff, the intramural softball, and they do, but it's not massive. It's not a massive deal. And where like here now, and this is one reason I wanted to definitely start doing what I'm doing. And Kayla might could tell you, she might not. This time of the year, we've got rec ball. I don't even know the numbers. It doesn't matter. Every field is full every day at Cornerstone. I'm just going to tell you that. Also, every field is full at Sportsplex, which there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So there's 7 fields at Sportsplex.
Yes. And then, those fields, I think they can get a little custom too. Like if they're, especially during soccer, they can divide them up into even smaller sections and make them like technically way more fields.
They use the outfields, and so Sportsplex is like Tatum. It has all the soccer fields like Tatum has, and then you would say the softball fields, but then it has it's right on the same place as where the building is, where she works, where the basketball and everything is. But then they spent the money. I don't know when they opened it. It was before I got here. They have a turf football field, which is super cool. Like Nolan's got to play flag football on it. It's got a track on it and everything. And that's cool. That makes you want to show up because it's nice, it's clean. That kind of stuff is to me massive. Like it makes
it looks like there are 8. There are 4 baseball and 4 softball fields there. It looks like.
But
the upper and lower quads,
upper and lower. And so, like last night, I was at Sportsplex with my rec team, and just trying to get a practice in, and that's the only field open. There's so much activity going on, like right now. It's like I'm wore out because of it, but I love it because it's keeping my 6-year-old super busy. And I said it on here before. I think that's important, and you have all these activities, and you talked about Jackson wanting to do all of them. And we preach about kids doing multiple sports. Here you go. And if you keep we need to make a T-shirt, Kayla. See, I need to join the marketing team. Let's keep the hype up. Let's
build it. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
And then Joe, you were talking earlier about like getting the community involved and stuff, and this just popped into my head. Like we do more with the community than just sports. Like we also have community events that we try to put on that are just completely free. That we do for the public, like the community of Starkville as like a give back. Like we do the Easter egg hunts. We're actually doing 2 days of those this year. One will be at the Sportsplex and one will be at JL King. We do trunk or treat. That is so fun. I love trunk or treat. And that's like a competition too. People decorate their trunks and the kids get to come and trick or treat for candy in like a safe space for free. Like they can go through and then we do prizes for the people who have the best decorated trunks. The 4th of July, you guys got to come to the 4th of July. That's going to be fun. Lots of fun stuff happening. Totally free fireworks show. It'll be fun. We'll have vendors out there and pictures with Santa for free too. We do that at Christmas. We just try to do, at least a few throughout the year for the holidays and stuff to, show our support for the community too, because the community does give us a lot of support throughout like the whole year for everything. And so we have fun.
That's a prime example of how it's different is Hattiesburg, the city, does a great job of those types of things. They have all kinds of stuff, but when it comes to, they do a lot of that stuff in the city, but then you have all these communities that do their own things. Yeah. And there may be 5 different 4th of July celebrations going on, and it's Oak Grove's got one, Summerall's got one, Hattiesburg's got one, Petal's got one, and it's all so segregated here by community. and they can't.
And rival. It becomes like
Yes.
people ain't coming to Summerall to do an Easter egg.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Right.
I mean, and they're on the same highway, and I mean, 25 minutes down the road. But Columbus is kind of like that. But here's the deal: West Point ain't doing none of that. Louisville not doing any of that. These communities around here is not doing anything. They're going to drive to Starkville to do it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so different here is, and maybe it's because the communities outside of Hattiesburg are a little bigger, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And so they kind of do their own things. But it would be really cool if everybody got together. And, Chancey and I have talked about before on here doing kind of a rec baseball league that every community kind of has their own teams, and we got
a podcast coming on that. We've got some,
and so they intertwine and play each other and stuff, and so it'd be really cool if all the communities would get together, kind of like what's happening in Starkville. So that's really cool. Joe, where are you at, man? You at Hattiesburg High?
No, he's at Turner. No, that's
Dixie boy.
All right,
Dixie boy.
Like we're talking about it. This happened right here. So let me tell you this story, Kayla. We've been telling the Starkville story. So this happened. See that field right there? It's nice, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks good.
All right. So that's the Dixie Boys field. Am I right, Joe?
Yeah.
All right. So there's a place called Camper Park, which is like historic, famous in Hattiesburg. It's right by the zoo. Hattiesburg has a beautiful, awesome zoo for years. Like they've had this Camper Park. Joe probably knows more of the history because he's lived close about more than me. But I mean, years and years of inner city kids being able to go play baseball, and this was the park. Like I'm talking about, old people would tell me like, "Hey, I hit a home run on Harvard Street." I hit a home run out on the creek. It was an old field, and the zoo wanted to put in a water park. The city voted on it and all the stuff they put in the water park. A lot of people were upset. But let me tell you something. They built them one. Right down the road, they built them a nice one. And it was a good payoff. I think it was. It was sad to see the old one go. But gorgeous field. Joe's out there, and I'm sure there's kids out there he's about to help. Joe was first-round pick by the Brewers. He's a community figure. Everybody knew him in high school, and he got drafted out of high school. So, Joe Gray's here. Like that's, to me, that's what it'd be like, one of these, Mississippi State guys or AJ Brown or somebody showing up to a flag football and be like, "Oh, AJ Brown's here." All the community would come and go. So there's a payoff right there. I just think it
is, and I'll say, I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Laurel. But when I came here, everybody always talked about the fields at Camper Park, but I mean, by the time I was here, man, those fields were trash. Like that field was trash, and they tore it down. And I get the historic part of it. I get the history of it. I absolutely get it. And I know a lot of people went out there and got dirt off the field and stuff like that. And that's really cool. But man, this facility that they've got now, they built the softball field and a baseball field, which the softball field is used by Hattiesburg High.
Yeah, more like a hybrid field. They able to use the those quick gates to put to bring the field in for the softball.
Mm-hmm.
But they did also built a very, very nice softball facility for Hattiesburg High that's attached next to it. But yeah, and I ain't gonna give off my location, but I live very close to the old park. The old park that was here before, and that's pretty much how I got into baseball. And when Charlie was saying about how bad those fields were, and even these fields over here, Camper Park, you talk about, holes in the cage. Anytime you hit in the cage, your ball's probably gonna be tore up by the time you get done hitting, and all types of stuff. And it just wasn't the best playing surface. And as the years go on, they had the opportunity, and I think a lot of it was that even though the park wasn't necessarily up to where it should be, You had a lot of good players in the community. You know, baseball players from being young, come through there, and it just showed that we should definitely, with the amount of talent that was coming through that park, we should definitely have a better park that suits it. Now I feel like the city definitely did their job with that. So
They've got it now for sure. Yeah. And again, I don't want to rag on the park because there are a lot of people who are very defensive about that, but it was just old. It was really old. It didn't drain well.
man,
It was just old. And so it was time to do something. And not only did they didn't just go down the road and build some other kind of run of the mill park. Like they went out
right.
there and did it right.
And they
And
kept it in the city. They kept it in. They kept it inner city. They kept it. They basically just moved it to another historical park in the inner city of Hattiesburg.
yeah,
Because this was the
it's
original.
just a few blocks away over
Right,
by JC Park. Yeah.
right. Because this was the original Dixie Youth Park. But then they ended up moving out to Tatum, and then
Mhm.
Tatum took over, and then now you got Dixie Boys. They built a state-of-the-art water park that brings a lot of money to the city,
Yep.
and then now you got a state-of-the-art. Like this is a good view of it. Hold on. Can I change my camera? Can I do
Yeah.
that? But
As he's
look,
doing,
I don't know if you can see, but this is a good view of like what the park kind of looks like.
it's
Now
not.
it ain't.
I didn't see it till the other day when I was.
Now
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not what I heard. What I'm hearing with Starkville's parks.
No, Starkville's
It's not
super
that.
nice.
Joe, Star Wars Parks. I mean, what they did at Cornerstone was. I mean, it's really unreal for it's a youth only. Like, I mean, I say that.
Yeah.
I know Starkville Christian Kayla goes out there and plays, but it's a short field. They hit too
Yeah,
many.
I just was looking at the
Yeah.
site. There are 10 225 fields and 250 fields.
Starkville
Yeah.
Christian High School plays on the 250 field. Sometimes it's not that's not optimal, but Starkville Christian's
We
very
do have the larger fields at the Sportsplex that we
They're-
try to use for any adult or older activities. But I know that the fields over at Cornerstone are obviously a lot nicer. So, you know,
well,
It's a trade-off.
had plans. They did have plans, and there's still some more land over there. That they were going to build at least one big field, high school regulation. I still think that's
Kayla,
coming, Kayla.
So I got
we're not
one
going
more
to keep
question.
you. Yeah, go ahead.
what's
Joe.
up?
I got one more question for her. What do you feel like since you've been working there has been the biggest challenge from the marketing side to keep the attention and, like you said, the hype consistent?
To be honest, internal organization, I feel like has been like my
That's why she's the
biggest
marketer,
challenge
Chancey.
because I am a little obsessed with being organized and I like everything to be really nice when I give it out and give out the information and I like it to be accurate and informational. So I think for me, I mean, it was a step. The getting it out there wasn't really as much of a challenge because it was more just like stepping stones. I kind of just started building relationships with the community, getting myself out there to where people like knew who I was and I could tell them like, hey, this is what we have going on. I started building resources, the printable things with the QR codes, like here you go, put this on your fridge. It has all of the registration dates that will literally never change on here for you. Subscribe to this for updates, and then working with the city too to like all of their, just utilizing all of our like relationships stuff to actually get the information out there. It's more like sometimes it's a little chaotic to try, especially when stuff is like back to back changing. And because we do so much and it's like a full calendar, we don't always know when stuff is happening at the exact same time as like the high schools or as Mississippi State. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with stuff like that. So there's like last minute changes and then stuff like that can, push stuff back and make stuff moved. And I would say, just organizing the information and keeping it updated has probably for me been my biggest challenge. But I'm working on it.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Great answer. Internal organization was not on my bingo card of things that Kayla was going to say today.
No,
So that was a great answer.
when she said it, I was like, "Whoa!" I like that word. Kayla, also, like, if you don't know, but you'll start watching the podcast even more now that we're a sponsor. I know. You'll learn my personality and kind of my history. I also wrote songs, so that was like almost like when somebody says something that's like a hook in a song, it's like, oh, there we go, good answer, good, good hook. But no doubt, I mean that's why I was like attracted to Kayla's personality and like as an employee, because I'm one of them guys. Like I'm gonna talk about you if you're terrible, but I'm gonna show love when I think you're good, and I do that.
Why he talks about Joe all the time.
Look, I do that to waiters and whatnot, but also another thing that we hadn't talked about is the social media. I know Charlie put it out there on there was a Facebook post.
I'll throw it back up there.
Yeah, so having a social media presence, I do think like a lot of communities lack on that. Obviously they don't have a marketing, director of marketing in Starkville Parks and Recs and sponsorship, whatever. They don't have somebody, but social media. I'm a big Gary Vee fan. Kayla, do you know who Gary Vee is?
I don't. I don't know who that is.
Do you get on TikTok?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Gary Vee, he's I guess a motivational speaker now, but he does all kinds of things. He still goes to garage sales and flips things on eBay. He's one of these guys is like, he'll get you pumped up on the business side. I'm 40 now, and he'll tell you when he was 31, he was working at a liquor store or something, but still doing like other stuff. He's one of those guys that's like, look, if you have a business and you can't run social media, you have no business doing business. Like we're in 2025. So he pushes you, like he says the same thing about merch. And like, if you see Charlie's hat, like I'm big on that. Yeah. I don't have the backing or capital or anything, but yeah, everything I do, I like having merch and I have a social media platform for everything. It's not big, but it doesn't matter. And I get that motivation from a guy like Gary Vee, but Starkville Parks and Recs, man, they, just having that out there where, yeah, we're sharing, signups or we've got this questionnaire, this opinion deal y'all put out there, job openings, whatever it may be. Again, it just keeps the hype up. But where, like, if I'm clicking on your page, this is how the algorithm works. If I'm clicking on your page to find out when to sign Nolan up for flag football, it's going to pop up again because I clicked on your page. I searched Starkville Parks and Recs, where in some communities they don't have a platform, so you can't even search that. You got to go to the website that somebody didn't update, and you don't even know. So I need to call somebody's cousin, uncle, who's the treasurer, and they forgot because they didn't go to the meeting last week. It becomes just a natural disaster internally. And the fact that you guys have that is awesome. And yeah, it doesn't take much to do it. And you probably like, no, Chancey, it's a nightmare running social media. Cause I get it. Cause I run it for 4 different platforms pretty much consistently. And as I get it, it is a lot of work, but it's not hard.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's just time consuming, I would say. And then if you're a little OCD like me and you stare at this social media graphic that you've been working on for 3 days and it's just not looking the way you want it to, so sometimes you have to just kind of pause and put it away and come back later. But yeah, I try to make everything look good and be eye-catching to grab people's attention. And when there's like big stuff too, I really like doing the @followers thing on Facebook. Anybody that follows your page, it like sends them a little notification. They're like, hey, come look at this.
Some folks.
Yeah, some of them have it turned off, but yeah.
Some of them don't like it. I know for sure. Charlie, what else you got for?
Well, I was going to say, what can, because I'm sure there are quite a few Starkville area folks who will listen to this episode or already are. What can the community do for you? I know you guys do a survey. You send out a survey, so I assume filling that out, responding to that is very important. You already talked about they clean up. You see them cleaning up on their own. What are some things that, or what is something that you would like for them to do for you?
Yeah, definitely the survey. Go fill out the survey. It is honestly, for the community more than it is for me, it is you giving us your feedback on what you think the Parks and Recreation Department in the city of Starkville can do to improve, what you want, what you feel like the community needs. It is genuinely just people who want to have an opinion about the city of Starkville parks. That's your place to do it. And it'll go towards like our next 10-year plan for, you know, all that stuff. And making improvements in the parks and stuff like that. So definitely that. And then honestly, just come by and visit me. I love to meet the community. Like come by and visit me. I have a lot of stuff I give to people. I'll give you little cornerstone knickknacks if you come visit me.
That
And we can
merch
chat.
we were just talking about,
Yeah, that
right?
merch. Yeah, exactly. My
So that
office.
actually feeds into my next question: is how can people get in touch with you? How can people come see you? How can they email you, get in touch with you on social media, all that stuff?
Yeah, I am the person that answers the questions on social media. So if you message the Starkville Parks Facebook, or if you message the Cornerstone Facebook, Instagram, any of those, you're probably talking to me. And then if you can also reach me at kdavenport@sportsfacilities.com. That is my email. And then our phone number is 662-323-2294, and I'm at extension 3150. That's how you can get directly to me and just bypass all of that automated stuff. It's 3150. That's me. And then my office is at the Travis Outlaw Center, or aka the Sportsplex. I'm in the Annex building. Come by, see me. I'm there most of the time. So, yep, come by and
Awesome.
visit. I love visitors.
You
Last thing I've got. Go ahead, Chancey.
You do a great job of that. So she also, I'm sure you're the one that responds to comments. So if you can imagine, like any other social media page, they get a lot of comments, some intelligent, some not as intelligent, but she does a great job of being very professional and leading the ones in the right direction. I was very impressed. I did look at some of that today. So, because yes, sometimes I am a comment reader, and I was like, dang, that was good. So yeah, of course, it had to be Kayla.
Thanks. I try.
And then Kayla, last thing for me is, what do you want? I always just try to ask people this because there may be something they want to get out there that we didn't talk about. So is there anything you want the community to know? What do you want people to know about Kayla, about Starkville Parks and Rec? Is there anything you think people need to know?
I think for at least for me is that, like, like you were talking about, like not everybody knows what all we have, like what all our employees are, what we do. Um, Everybody, that I know that I work with, like we all really are like passionate about what we do. Most of us up there, anyways. Really enjoy the job, and like we work together pretty well. And at least for me, speaking on like for myself, I really do love my job. Like it is something that I'm very passionate about. I like wake up and am happy to go to work. I love what I do. I love the people that I meet in Starkville, and like working as an ambassador too. And I guess I'm saying that to be like, don't be, I don't know if why anyone would be scared, but don't be scared to come and talk to me. Like I'm like, I love visitors, like I was saying, but genuinely like anything. Like if it's just something like that people are curious about, if you want to get involved, I have people stop by asking just like how can they get involved a lot. And there's almost always something that we can work on together, and it ends up making some really cool projects sometimes. So, yeah, I'm passionate about what I do. I love what I do. I love working with people, and I love helping people. So yeah,
How
I'm
many
Awesome.
how
excited.
many how many employees does Starkville Parks and Rec have? Do you know?
Full time, I think we're like mm, 20, 20 something. I want to say 20 something.
Yeah.
But part time, a lot. That number is big.
Uh,
Um, but it rotates.
yeah. Yeah. I was just
So
curious about the full time. I mean, I've got to know a few of them, especially the people at the front desk. There's a lady that was like the very first person to talk to me, and she knows Nolan to this day. In fact, she was in the parade on y'all's float, and like gave a shout out to Nolan. And that's just like little stuff like that. She's probably one of the ones definitely that enjoys her job, appreciates her job, and and it goes a long way. It goes a long way for sure. So I think that's kind of wraps up what I like about everything, and I wanted you to share with our listeners. Joe, are you still here?
So I was gonna see if Joe had any final thoughts or questions or remarks or.
Nah, man. I just appreciate the knowledge. Just to hear what y'all doing up there in Starkville. Because
Joe's coming before he leaves to get a pro ball, because he texted me last week and he still hadn't given me.
I got to.
Yeah,
I got to.
We're gonna come on up. I'm gonna show you everything. We'll go by and see Kayla. How about that?
Yeah, come visit me.
Yeah, that's
And
fine,
if
man.
you want to go to Cornerstone, we can get on a golf cart and we can go for a
That's another
ride.
question. Like I need to work my way up. I need a golf cart because my daughter's playing softball, Nolan's playing baseball, and from green to red, I'm getting old. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a long.
You need a scooter. You need a
You
scooter,
just go
Chancey.
up to anyone with a walkie-talkie and be like, "Hey, bring the golf cart."
Well, look, here's the next step. I need a walkie-talkie. Let's just look.
Oh, let's just get you a walkie.
Part-time job, that they're listed, and I'm just gonna, I'm that guy. I'll go do whatever that duty is, like really quick and awesome, and just to get a walkie-talkie. All right, before we go, we got a big shout out to Coach Dominique Griffith. It's his birthday today.
Dom, happy birthday, Coach Dom.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Yeah. So he's Kayla, he's been with us since we started, and just the dog. I mean, he's a bull too. He's going to live and die as a bull now, and he's been with us a long time. So everybody loves Coach Dom, and it's his birthday.
Dom's awesome.
He's in a cast. He tore his Achilles tendon, and he had to have surgery. And he's like an old man. Speaking of live stream, I was watching his live stream, and he's arguing with the umpire. Hold on a scooter with a cast, like scooting out there with his legs.
He told me about that last week, and I'm like, man, I got to go find that. I got to go find that video.
I can't hear what he's saying, but he's doing this, and I know what he argued about, and it was definitely legit. But it was funny because he's like this old man on a scooter.
Just scooting up.
Just scooting up. But
let me tell you something.
Yeah,
exactly. So happy birthday, buddy. And I doubt he's listening right now, but he'll listen back. He always listens in. So we love you and happy birthday. So, well, Kayla, awesome. I don't know if you go to bed early or not, but we kind of stay up late doing this. But this is going to be on Spotify, iTunes, be on YouTube, Facebook. We're on all the platforms. So share
awesome.
With you got family or whatever, and it's kind of cool. Kind of archives a little. It's fun for us. We like learning new stuff, and you definitely were something different for us to talk about and very informative for sure. So you've done a great job.
Absolutely.
Awesome. It was fun.
Thanks, Kayla. This has been the Small Ball Podcast. Kayla Davenport, Joe Gray, Chancey Rogers. I'm Charlie Rogers. We appreciate all of you, and we'll see you next week.
Later.